Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Ritika Singh, founder and CEO of Content Factory and executive member of the TiE Global Leadership Committee. Today, we are joined by someone who has spent years building companies, mentoring founders, and contributing to entrepreneurial ecosystems across the globe. He's an entrepreneur, investor, mentor, and a very respected leader within the TiE ecosystem, currently serving as the chair of the TiE Global Board of Trustees. He is widely known for his insights on entrepreneurship, innovation, leadership, and long-term business building. From scaling companies to helping founders navigate their journeys, his experience brings valuable lessons for entrepreneurs at every stage. Please join me in welcoming Yash Shah. Yash, it's great to have you with us today. We're excited to hear what you have to say, and we're going to barrage you with a lot of questions, and they're coming your way now.
Thank you for that introduction, Ritika, and it's my pleasure to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much once again. So, Yash, you've experienced almost every phase of entrepreneurship, which is building companies, scaling them, facing setbacks, exits, and mentoring founders globally. It's been a huge experience behind you, a number of years. Looking back today, which part of the journey shaped you most personally?
When I came to this country, I came from an entrepreneurial background. My family was an entrepreneurial background, for sure. But I was not really sure what it takes to be an entrepreneur. The first time you jump in, you have no idea what you're going to face. And just navigating through that uncertainties of the early days of what comes at you was it shaped me tremendously for my rest of my ventures. I'm on my fourth company now, or fifth company, depending on how you count that stuff. But the first company, for good or for bad, gave me lifetime of experiences just in one venture. It was a 15-year journey before I had my first exit, but the entire journey involved bootstrapping it, so no outside money for first few years, being very profitable, then raising a lot of money, $16 million to fund the rest of the phase of growth of the company, spent the money, lost the entire control of the company, run into the dot-com bust in 2001.
Ouch.
Almost came to shut down the company.
Ouch.
And then instead of bought the company back from investors, did a restart. And then 7 years later, we had an exit. So all the lifetime of experiences that one entrepreneur can have, I had in one company, first company. But it shaped me in terms of what it takes to really go through an entrepreneurial journey, what kind of relationships you need, what kind of partnerships you need, what kind of team you need to go build, the value of a founding team, and just this that it's not over till it's officially over, and you never give up. It's all about grit, persistence, and just coming through. And for whatever reason, every venture I've gone through never had a clean up and up. It's always been almost near-death experience, but never giving up, and then just sort of coming out. And then a story that nobody could imagine that, oh my God, you came this close to it, but then you came out as well. So everything I advise, and I think as I reflect back, is what shaped me was those early days of what it takes to kind of really go through this thing. And it almost always never goes the way you intended to go. You can just expect that that's not the way it's going to go. And it's okay. I mean, that's what it's all about. And anyway, so essentially what I advise and what I feel is that what I've learned the most is you have to get comfortable with the risk. And if you can get comfortable with the risk, you get confidence. And you get confidence to deal with uncertainties that come along with this journey. And if you're confident, you can execute much better. But if you're fearful at every stage, you're going to struggle. Anyway, that's sort of what, in my mind, shaped me tremendously. And by the way, TiE was very critical in the entire journey because my mentors, my investors, my friends, relationships all came from TiE. And hence, obviously, now I'm my 30th year of being a TiE charter member. But that's what it is. TiE played a very critical role throughout my journey. Even today, that's the case.
God, this is almost seems like a life hack and something that this is literally what life is, I think, all about. And I think it just goes on to your own entrepreneurial journeys. And Yash, I mean, hats off to your resilience. I mean, you literally use the words near-death experience. I mean, that for a company, for a founder at that point of time is genuinely one of the most testing times in their lives. Apart from dealing with other things, this is like just one part of what we do, right?
No doubt.
But I'm sure there must have been some moments which you have now so casually mentioned, in hindsight, saying that, oh, this is what it was. But do you remember any special moments that really, really tested you as a founder? I mean, you've said a lot, but I'd like to know an experience that really, really, tested your limits.
I can say I'm blessed with so many such experiences. And they're all sort of learning lessons, and they all were hardships and how we got around it. I started the company when I had a 3-month-old daughter, and my co-founder friend also had a 3-month daughter. Both our daughters were born 1 week apart. And we just said that if we never start it now, we'll never do it later, because this is the time to kind of do it. Otherwise, we're going to be needing to spend time with the kids. And we can probably afford to take a little risk now. And with some support, we decided to jump in. But I would say that there are a couple of moments that come really, really, if I reflect back, those are the most important things. The time when the investors were ready to shut the company down, literally because of the dot-com, nobody wanted to put any money in. We were out raising $40 million. Everybody had put, HP had committed money, Hewlett-Packard, Mercury Interactive, all these companies had committed money, but we could not find the lead. Anyway, they wanted to shut this company down, and one fine day, my co-founder friend Mike just decided to say, what if we bought the company back? Like really put our money back in the company and down round all the investors, because we are not interested. We were still confident on the company. That decision and the courage to then go to an attorney, who was the best attorney in Boston, and say, we want to do this thing. We might not be able to pay you if you lose, but if you win, we will pay you over time because we may not have any money left. And to then go through this process and actually investors giving the company back to us to go re-execute it's again this whole idea of defining moment that if we had not done that, we would have just given up. And we were still confident on our vision, on our commitment, or what we were trying to build, the problem we were trying to solve. The timing was just not right. And sometimes you just have to deal with those things. And so if you still your convictions are strong in terms of the problem you're solving, then you just have to kind of be there. It's not over till it's over. And you have to just not give up. Every meeting you can take, every connection that comes to you your way, you just have to not. And the most unexpected results come in from the least place you would expect. And it's just something that I've learned a lot. I've become a significantly better networker because of TiE. And I used to be I'm still, I think, I'm an introvert. I don't actually like to speak on stages, and it's not my style. I don't go out and do that. But networking, I've become really, really good by connecting with people, saying hello, learning more about what they do. And I've found connections that have turned into unbelievable value to me, and with no expectations. And I have stories for that too someday, for you can capture that. But it's incredible stories of how we finally ended up closing this round of $45 million of a pure chance, pure luck, attending a conference and playing a game of golf. And it was just a complete blind connection that made the round happen. And it was just like, I have so many such stories. And that's where I tell my people who are starting the companies I mentor, that you just don't give up until it's not over till it's over. And I keep saying that because that's so true. And it's been the case for me all the way through.
My God, this story is giving me goosebumps. You're sitting at God knows how many thousands of miles apart, and I can just still feel what you must have gone through. Unfathomable, absolutely. But hats off to your courage and your resilience. I'm sure it wouldn't have been an easy thing at that point in time. And then having younger kids in the picture, a family to raise, I'm sure parents around. So it's like a whole gamut. So I don't know how we hustled through, but thank you so much for being so humble and so honest with that episode here, Yash. So you've seen, community support, like you just mentioned, that over 30 years networking, the TiE community entirely. And you know that one of, most strongest programs is the TiE Women program.
Yep.
What excites you most about the next generation of women founders today?
This next generation of founders itself. And then, of course, then there's the other angle to that of, what's specific about the women founders of that stuff, right? And I think, the programming that we have created, one of the earliest, biggest challenge when you're starting a company or anything like that is always get the visibility? Like, how do you get the word out? How do you make those connections? Where do you start? It's the single biggest challenge. People think is money. Money is sort of, in my mind, comes later. But you have a problem, you try to kind of solve this one. How do you really get the visibility so that you can make those connections, finding those investors or mentors or all that stuff? And so I love this program that we've created at TiE Women, TiE, these programs that are, in a way, really the visibility platform for emerging entrepreneurs, right? If they get participated in this TiE Women program, they get in front of not only local ecosystem of the chapters they're from, but they get to visibility across the globe as they navigate through the TiE Women program all the way to the finalist. And the visibility that they get, we will, as a TiE, we will never be able to measure that stuff, because there's no way to measure that connections, right? Because a lot of things we do are intangibles. But I know for sure that when you are in these presentations and you go through these pitch competitions and all that stuff, what you get is the highest value. It's up to you to leverage and exploit that, but you get extreme visibility to go make that happen. So first of all, I think from a programming perspective, I think it's great that we have this program that gives visibility to them, which is the most valuable. At the end of the day, entrepreneurs know who to go after and get the money and figure out the problem. We don't need to spoon feed them. We need to create the environment where they can go succeed. But it's up to them to go make that happen. I've seen incredible number of, I've been involved with quite a few TiE Women program in Boston, because that's where I am part of. And the nature of the women founders build companies and pick problems to solve, and how they build the teams, how they go about solving it, is quite very interesting. I find that to be quite different than obviously how the men founders do it. It's just interesting how they build a company, how committed they are, how they approach the problem. And obviously Boston being a very life sciences oriented focus now, you see a lot of companies and a lot of women focused on solving problems around family, mental health, and life sciences, and things that probably affect, so their own convictions are formed by really living this problem to make that happen. So, but in general, I just feel like it's quite interesting to see the next generation of entrepreneurs coming together and the nature of the problem that they're all trying to go solve. They do change for geography, because I've seen Boston is different, Silicon Valley is different, Atlanta is different. It's all problem in a different manner. But I just enjoy being there, just listening to the problem. Sometimes these are not my domain area, but I just love it when I'm hearing the problem that I go trying to solve. How to solve cancer treatment, and how do you solve the eye. I have an eye surgery coming up, and how do you go solve that? You never need to worry about the future lenses and all that stuff. They're just unbelievable and really exciting to be part of TiE, to be able to hear these problems and how they go about solving it.
Thank you so much, Yash. And also, I wanted to understand from you that a lot of founders are just so focused on scale, and quickly scale, and just kind of beat the entire. I wanted to understand from your experience, what do people most misunderstand about building a long-term business?
It's a great question, Ritika. It's actually one of the most important questions, and I feel I've lived it through. So when I say these things, it's to convict. It's my own experience. It's not like textbook reading. I don't read books as much. Everything I have is really just personal experience. But I think what happens is that there is a natural tendency to hear about companies that are very, very successful. It's all about scale and success. And what we never hear about are the 99% of the other companies that have actually gone through ups and downs. It's not just all about scale. So building for long term. So scale and chasing valuations, both can be extremely, extremely challenging if you do it ahead of the product market fit, right? So what happens is that I've gone through that process. The reason why I lost most of my first company, even despite raising so much money, is that I tried to scale before I had a product market fit. I was able to convince somebody to sell it, but I could not to buy it, but I couldn't convince anybody else to go sell it for me. And so it was it was me, the founder, was able to convincingly go make it happen, but it was not institutionalized properly. It was the product market fit was not there to actually find the scale. And so if you try to scale before that, you are going to run into a lot of problems. And scaling alone cannot be the metric. It should be all about, are we solving the right problem? Is there a product market fit there? If the product market fit is there are various ways to measure that stuff. Obviously the traction and the response time, but can you get somebody else to go sell this for you effectively? Can you build this pipeline? It's a good measure to say, because founders are very passionate. They can sell just through passion. They can pivot, they can answer whatever question they want. A salesperson is not going to have that same leeway. They have to go sell what they have. And if they are not able to sell what they have, that means we still haven't figured out the product market fit. So that's one. The second piece is that the founders are domain experts. They know too much. It's actually a blessing and a curse. Because if you know too much, you tend to pivot too often and too frequently. And what that means is that you're not able to land on a product market fit. You don't give enough time for the business to land on the right product market fit, because the first customer you go and say, well, I want this way actually. Says, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let me just go that way. And so you start going there because you have the gift of knowing the whole industry and you have the expertise. So you say, yeah, that's a good problem. So you keep changing your direction, but it actually hurts the company because you've not landed on it. You want to kind of say, you want to go approach 50 people and maybe 10 might say no, or 20 might say no, but 30 say yes, and that's a good idea. That's what you want to do. But many people don't have that passion, and years go by and they're not able to land on the product market fit. And if you don't land that and you scale, your money is going to go down. It's going to have all sorts of issues. You're going to lose control of the company. You're going to dilute, and all that stuff is going to happen. So build the right team, keep a long-term focus, invest heavily on the time and effort in finding the right product market fit, and then double down on investing and scaling, and then it'll be fine, right? And of course, if you could still have issues post that, and you obviously need to course correct as you see fit, but that's the right model to go then scale it, and that you'll have a better success rate if you are able to scale it at the right time, the right team, versus a bit ahead because you're just chasing scale for the sake of chasing scale. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's sort of the way I would recommend, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Yash. And the way I am understanding it is also what you're saying is that to build a really, really solid foundation. And once your foundation is strong, then probably it's easier to keep on building on top of that. To another part of the same question, we're talking AI, we're talking innovation, and AI has completely changed the world in all its ways that we know. But I want to understand, what is your take for founders? I mean, do you think that it is more like a distraction, or is it something that, companies may utilize or should be utilizing? I mean, parts of it, we already know answers of that, but what would you say to founders who want to stay here and be in the long run? So over to you.
I think we're all experiencing this AI storm right now, and it's a tornado. I mean, you are running in circles. Some days you feel you have a tailwind for you, and some days you feel you have a huge headwinds. And it is really quite a bit of uncertain times right now. A ton of new opportunities that can emerge, but it's also going to reshape how you're going to build the current companies as well. So it's a really one of the most profound change that we've seen, in that could affect all sorts of existing companies, new companies, how entrepreneurs are going to build the companies. In some sense, it's making it easy to build new products. But in another sense, it makes it harder to get moat and differentiation now because it's so easy to build products. And so it's sort of, I think it's a very interesting time. So first, what doesn't change is that your conviction of solving the problem.
Right.
What problem are you trying to solve? That is the most important thing, number one. You're going to have to leverage AI to speed up the development and go make that happen. So your ability to iterate, ideate, and validate the idea is going to be significantly better than before. So your ability to really go pursue this is going to be better. Where the entrepreneurs are going to have to spend more time is that how are they going to build a differentiation that is sustainable? The moat is where they're going to have a very challenging time to make sure that what's going to prevent for somebody else to just do this tomorrow. And is it the data? Is it your knowledge of the domain knowledge? Is it your integrations? Is it the way you're going about solving the problem? Is it the people? And like that critical thinking would need to occur more so than before. I know of a lot of startups that are happening where they're all just churning, where there's so many ideas coming so fast now, you can build this so quickly. But then if it's become now I just saw a recent post by a VC that just said, we love the problem you're solving, but the way you build the product using AI is not the right way, and it's not well architected, it's not well designed, and so we're not going to fund you, right? So it's sort of this interesting dilemma that founders are going to face AI. So I think overall it's a good thing, but I think it's going to work well for people who take advantage of it in the right manner, not entirely rely on it. But as an entrepreneur specifically, your conviction of the problem you're solving, why it needs to get solved, why this problem is going to get worse, that needs to be there. Right. And how you're going to go solve about it using AI, you can accelerate. Right. But then just focus on how you're going to do it differently, on what's sustainable and differentiation on that stuff. That's going to be the single hardest thing that they'll have to overcome. If they do, you could have a great opportunity to kind of go pursue this thing to make that happen. So it's one of those interesting times. This story is still being written.
Yeah.
It's not over by any stretch of imagination. Right. Things are moving so fast. And I'm seeing it in my own business. I'm seeing it across the board. I wake up days all excited, and some days I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Right? It's just such a dramatic and profound impact is happening that everybody's jobs are changing. Yeah. So it's a very interesting time for this one.
Yeah, I know that. Just every day we just seem to be hustling through. Every day there's something new that happens, and I personally feel that 100 things every day need to go right, and constantly as a founder, I think we're fighting 20 of them almost every single day. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying, Yash. And,
yeah.
I think it's resilience, like you mentioned right in the beginning, that's the only thing that'll get you through all of this, right?
Yeah, resilience and then staying focused, and obviously you got to know what matters. I use this analogy of the glass balls and the rubber balls. Okay. You're always juggling number of balls in your life: personal, work, customers, employees, partnerships, money, payroll. All this stuff is happening, and you just have to know which ball is the glass ball on a given time and a given moment, and which are the rubber balls. And the glass ball, if you drop, it's going to break. Rubber ball is going to keep coming back. You can catch it later. So I think you just have to constantly be on the lookout for those things. And I use that to prioritize and focus on what matters, and focus on daily. And that could change as you solve this problem. You can catch the next one. But at any given time, you're going to have a couple of glass balls that you must get done. It could be family, it could be health, it could be whatever it could be. But if you let go of that, you cannot come back to that stuff, right? And so you just gotta know that many things in life are going to be rubber balls. It may not look like it, but if you really ask yourself, it's going to be a rubber ball, right? Which means that if you didn't do it today, or you didn't do it tomorrow, it makes no difference. It's going to come back, and you can pick it up at that time. And so I think that's sort of it's one of those times that we are living it through. And so yeah, persistence, staying focused, focus on what matters, building your convictions. But yeah, every opportunity or any new tech brings in great opportunities, but also brings in new challenges. And it's just reality. Now AI is creating so much noise for me that I get so many proposals, so much content, because it's so easy to create that I needed my own AI to now go filter this out, because I just can't keep up with the content that's coming my way, because it's so easy to create the content, right? So now the burden is on the reader to say, hey, here's a proposal, go take a look at it. Like, okay, now I got to go read through that stuff to say what I need to pay attention to make that happen. So it's different new problems are going to emerge, and probably new opportunity to create new companies to go address that stuff.
That's interesting, and you're so right. And I hope we have the sense to understand which are the glass balls and which are the rubber balls. So I think that part is also very critical for a founder to segregate. Okay, this I can come back to, but this is really a glass ball. So thank you so much.
That happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mind-blowing thing in itself. So I also wanted to understand from you, Yash, that a lot of founders underestimate the importance of community early on. Like you and I have seen it, and TiE's been a community that we've been a part of for, you've been here 30 years, I've been around about 15. So, how much do you think can the right ecosystem genuinely change a founder's journey?
I mean, I think it's significant. So if somebody has not realized that stuff, they will not realize that until they are part of a community to see the value that they get out of it. And that includes family, includes your relationships and your network, professional network that you have created. because this is a very lonely journey. It's a very lonely journey.
Yeah.
If you have a co-founder, that's great, but it's still a lonely journey. For first-time entrepreneurs, they're learning a lot all the time. And all this thing that I talked about bravely to say, oh, I was I was able to kind of survive through these things. And, I was able to do that was because I was part of a community that gave me that sort of, we got your back, right? You have to have something that makes you feel like I can call on somebody, I can rely on somebody, I can cry on somebody's shoulder. I've had my own mentors from TiE, when I used to go and articulate my challenges, they would in turn highlight their challenges. And I'm like, oh, mine are nothing compared to yours. I said, yeah, exactly. So just deal with it, right? So it's sort of like you give that to say it's not just you, there are others there. And these relationships that you form through networking, through connection, through TiE, your mentors, your friends, and your peers, they are extremely valuable in your ups and downs that are likely to happen. The 99% of the companies that are going to face these ups and downs, they need the community to provide that support. And so TiE is just one angle of it, but TiE is a huge part of that and played a very important role to make that happen. So if you think about the single biggest ability for my learning, you asked me first question was what shaped you? Yeah. My ability to deal with the crisis and my ability to deal with ups and downs was why? Because I was able to get over a fear of like, okay, I convinced myself that what's my worst case scenario? Mm-hmm. In my worst case scenario, I had to kind of go through in my mind, and my family helped me go through that stuff. So the worst case, you shut this company down and go on to something, you get yourself comfortable with that stuff. Right. Once you have that, you gain a new level of confidence to do the right thing, take the right decisions, don't chase wrong things, because you're confident that you're not making decisions because of fear to go make that happen. That confidence you get because of the community, because of your family, because of your network that you created, because of your peers and all that, to say, you know what, I'm going to do the right stuff to go make that happen. If you don't have that support, you would tend to try and lean towards being reactive, make decisions based on fear unknown, and then suddenly you're chasing things that you shouldn't be chasing, and then you realize that you're on a treadmill. Now you can't get off the treadmill because you now made commitments that you cannot keep, and just this is very tough to do that. So I find that in my own journey, the biggest thing was the community that helped me jump into it, that helped me sustain through it, and that's why I give back, is because of that. This is the TiE's intangible value that it provides. There are a lot of other tangible values, money we raise and jobs we create and funding and mentorship and all that stuff. But the intangible value is the fact that it exists all the time, that people are willing to give their time, networking, inspiration, all these things that are just hard to figure out how you really measure that stuff, but they are there, and so it's incredibly valuable. And the most important thing that a founder should latch on to as they go through this journey.
Right. Yash, this is supposed to be a very, very professional and very, categorically done video. But here I am reacting so emotionally to what you're saying, because I totally get it. And I don't know, I'm just at a loss of words. So give me 5 seconds to get over that, and I'll ask you my next question. So here it is, Yash, that after everything that you've built, learned, experienced as a founder, mentor, investor, what still keeps you excited about entrepreneurship today?
I think I'm going to be an entrepreneur till I die. I mean, that's just the way it's in my blood. I mean, I don't see. My dad was an entrepreneur, my family was an entrepreneur, my uncle was like age 90, he had a business plan. Even he just had a business plan. So I'm going to sell flowers in Mumbai or whatever. I mean, he was like, hey, I want to pitch you a plan. At 90, he's telling me, I want to pitch you a plan. Oh my God. And so it's sort of like, first of all, I feel like it's giving me a lot of energy. It keeps me young. It keeps me energized of like what's happening. It's like experience of buying a lottery. I don't buy lotteries, but if I can imagine like you have a lottery and then that night you have all this excitement to say, if I'm going to win this thing, what can I do with it? It's like when you are helping an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship, it's like you're solving a problem and you feel good about that stuff. And I want to see them be successful. But I get the excitement just by helping them and see what they could become. And I get very excited. So it's very easy to convince that this is going to be a big company, because I buy into this thing very easily, and I'm always invest in early stage companies. So I tend to invest only in companies that are at the earliest stages, where they don't have the resources. You see, there are always people who invest when you have everything proven out, but you want people who are going to be there when you need them the most, right? And so I tend to focus my energy on those people. But I get excited by that simple fact that you're building something, building teams, solving problems, and that energy. And the fact that I don't have any other talent, that I can't go play music, or I can't just not, I don't, it's not like I go hiking and, I mean, yeah, I can play some golf on and off, but it's, I'd love to learn more, but this is my passion. And it's just what I enjoy doing. And so when I go to these women competition pitches, when I go to these TiE pitches and all the other programs, I just see that stuff. It's just like unbelievably exciting. And sometimes in my current role as chair, I get so far away that, we're mostly administrative in nature that I don't get enough time to be in front of the entrepreneurs and say, okay, what I'm doing. But I know as an organization, we're doing that tremendously across the globe. It's just unbelievable how much we did just last year alone across the globe through the 65 chapters that we have, and how many people we try to connect, how many mentorship we did, how much money we invested to help. And I'm sure each of that made somebody's impact. And that's all we can measure. Think about things that we can't measure. It's just like incredible. So that's sort of long answer to your short question, but that's what keeps me going. And I feel it's the best form of excitement and energy. And I wake up every morning and I just love building companies and building teams.
Thank you so much for being just like the most humble and the most honest person. It's a fantastic interview. Imagine someone telling you, literally the global chair for the board of trustees saying that I'm not good at anything else. So this is what I end up doing. So this is fantastic. Okay, last to you, Yash, for call for applications. We are running the global pitch competition for TiE Women this year. And we would love for you to send out a small 30-second message that whatever comes to your mind. It's called for applications, and we want more and more women across the globe to apply for the global pitch competition for TiE Women.
Okay, co-founder, and you own a certain piece of the minimum company, or you have an idea or an early stage of that, and you are looking to get some traction on that idea, validation. One of the biggest things you're going to need is an ability to add visibility to that, what you are doing. And there is no better program than TiE Women to provide you that platform to gain visibility locally across the globe to make that happen. And so you are going to get this opportunity. There's no cost to you. There's ability for you to just come in, compete for that stuff and get the visibility. And that even one connection or one relationship that you form there is going to change, potentially the prospect of changing the future of the journey that you might have. So I would strongly encourage you to apply for that program. It's really frictionless. You go for that stuff and, who knows where it goes from there. The program is designed, to be honest, there is no such thing that you're not ready. If you have an idea, of course, you need to have a problem that you want to go solve. If you have not identified what you want to go solve, then of course, then you need to kind of nail that stuff down. But if you know what you want to do and you probably want to solve, then there is no such thing as readiness. You just need to be able to articulate the problem that you're going to go solve. And most of the people who are going to apply are going to have some level of initial work done to go make that happen. So that readiness, you, by the way, will never feel you're ready. You're always going to have reasons to feel like I need to do this one more thing and one more thing. But networking, visibility, validation, the more you can do at the earlier stages, the more valuable that input is going to be. So there is no losing here. In fact, if you don't get selected or don't get asked to pitch, there's a tremendous value just gained by the feedback and the interaction and the preparedness, the time you're going to spend to prepare for that is going to help you tremendously, and you can incorporate that in your feedback. So everybody's a winner. So I won't worry about whether you're ready or not ready. You should just apply and make the most of the opportunity that we are giving you to provide the platform for visibility.
Thank you so much. Thank you.